Hi, I'm a Christian. And in the fall of 2024, I was working 32 hours a week and I had a stressful job. It was in an office and I was suffering from a lot of anxiety. And being a Christian, I said I shouldn't be suffering from this. And I know the Bible enough to know that we are supposed to um, be happy. Jesus came that gave us life, and that we would have it more abundantly. And I was not walking in abundance, an abundant mindset. I was not walking in joy. Casting all your cares upon him, for he cares for you. I'd given to him, and then I would take them right back. And it wasn't, it was the fall of the 2024 that I finally decided I can't do this. I can't work that many hours. I was coming home and, you're stressed from your job and you have to get supper on the table. And I am married. My children are all grown. I do have currently a nephew living with us. He's saving money for a house. He's totally self-sufficient. I don't even cook him meals. He just, he's got his own part of the fridge and he takes care of himself. Um, but I was just, there was so much expectation that I was putting on myself, and I had no joy. I struggled with fear. I struggled with anxiety, um, and I think so. The reason that I'm here is that I think that there's probably a lot of Christian people that are also suffering from these same exact things, and it was at that point that um, God really laid it on my heart that maybe I should let the job go. And that was very hard for me because um, we need the paycheck, and we need my income, and um, this is also my identity. This is what I do. I was proud to say, oh, I work in an office. I do blah, and it was estimating, and there was pride involved in that, and um, but to walk into work every day, and I never felt adequate at what I was doing, and um, and that fall, it was like, okay, Lord, you know, because I would come home and I would make the meals, and then and then David, if he wasn't helping out, then then I would get irritated. And in the Bible, the women's role was in the home, and now I'm getting mad at my husband because he's not doing my role because I'm working. And it was my head was just playing with me. And I know that there are a lot of people that are working out there. I know a lot of people have to work to make an income. They have to support their husband, their kids. Life is so full of different situations that don't allow you the freedom to make that choice. And at that point, I didn't know if I had that choice. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to see what it's like if we only use my husband's income. So I quit using my income. When I would get my paycheck, I would throw all of it at one of our bills. And so, I would make the normal payment with the income that my husband David made, and then I would just throw my extra just to pay extra at that bill. And we did that to see, because that way my income kind of like went away, to see how we would do. And uh, God is so good. We tithed during that period also. And so we had been saving for a couple years to go to Europe. My son was getting married in Scotland, and so I think we saved for 2.5 years to have the money ahead of time, and I was still taking part of David's check and sitting it in that savings account. Every month it was going in twice a month actually out of every paycheck, and then and I kept doing that with even with the one income. And we pulled back. We found really creative ways to pull back and see what we actually had to live on, and it was really interesting because we went to Europe. So the end of 2024, the beginning of 2025, we were in Europe, had an amazing time. And we got back, and we spent actually 3 weeks. We went to England, Scotland, and Sweden and Italy. And then we got back, and I went back to work, and I was thinking, okay, now when is the right time to move forward with this? You know, we've done like 3 months, and I know that I can kind of do maybe 4 months of trying to live on David's income, and I think I'm ready. And so something happened because I was going to give I didn't want to give it right away when I got back from Europe because I thought that would be really kind of cruel to the company. And so then I thought I'll do it in March. And they had just started, they had hired a new girl, and I wanted to give, because I was part of the training team for her, and I wanted to give her time to get her feet wet in what we do, so that she felt comfortable. And so I'm like, I can't quit yet. And then so I said March, because that'll give me like she'll get like like 6+ weeks to train and kind of get her feet wet and kind of know what she's doing before I give my 2 weeks. And then she's still got other people that she could have fell back on. Yeah. So anyway, so I was in March, and I was all excited, and I had the day set that I was going to give my 2-week notice. And on the very day that I was going to give it, one of the other people in our unit put in his 2-week notice. And I said, shoot, I cannot do that to the company. I can't just step out of my position and leave them with just this new girl. And then there was 2 other people in the department besides the new girl, with that guy leaving, and then me. And so that put it off. And then so then I had to, I felt like I had to stay. I didn't have to stay. I could have honestly said, I'm done. I'm whatever, I'm out of here. I'm obligated to give my 2-week notice, and then I'm out of here. And I couldn't do it. And so it wasn't actually, I did not get the piece of it to actually step out of my job until August. And by then I was so ready. I felt like God was now saying, yep, now is the time you can do it. And the way it happened, it just, like, I just made my 5-year anniversary at my company, and my vacation all filled. And because of that, when I did give my 2 weeks, I got paid out all that extra for my vacation. So it was pretty, it was just kind of confirmation that, this is where God would have you right now. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to go back to do something part-time, or that's, because right now I'm praying to God for big things. And, I'm looking to his leading. And we've been doing other things too. We also were able to buy a house, and we've got our house up on the market right now. So there's been other big things in this whole mix. And then currently I am not working, and I've been working as a homemaker, and totally loving that, by the way. But it's where I am right now, and I'm learning. God is teaching me joy, to not take life so seriously. I actually have learned how to laugh, and you can take this for granted if you're a giggler, and more power to you. And I think I've giggled maybe 3, maybe 5 times in my life. One time I giggled so hard my children asked me if I was okay. So that was a long time ago. But normally I'm not a laughing person, and I'm a more serious person. But as you grow older, you even get more serious if you don't check this. So I've been, God's been working on me with joy, and so I relish in this. I relish in where God has me right now, what He's teaching me, and where I'm going from here. I'm not saying I'm not going to get another job. What I'm saying is that I feel like I had to pull back from the anxiety, the fear, because I wore that on my face. I mean, you looked at me and you went, not approachable, because there was anxiety, there was fear, there was, insecurity because I didn't feel confident in my job. I think I invented imposter syndrome. You know. But life is, God is showing us good things, and He's always working with us. And if this video can maybe help somebody that's struggling with not having joy as a Christian, oh my goodness, I walk into church and the music starts and I can just bawl, and it's because of what God has done in my life, and it's such an amazing thing, and He's still working, and He's, and I know that where I was and where I am is not where I'm going to be in the future. So as a person, as a human being, and as a daughter of the King, so just if this could encourage somebody, because of the joy of the Lord and how good He is, and that He's got you on a path to help further your growth in your walk. Because I used to run around and say, "Where's my purpose? What's my purpose?" And all of our purpose is to become more Christ-like, but that looks a little differently for everybody. You could end up continuing forward in your walk with Christ as a homemaker, as a self-employed individual, as an anything, as a full-time employee, as a skydiver, like whatever, a professional golfer. You can, but we are to be Christ-like, and God will show you your path, and He's got me on an incredible path right now, and I'm not running around anymore going, "What's my purpose?" Because God's got me in it, and it's going along, and I'm right now I'm along for the ride, and I'm seeing what wonderful things He's going to be doing. So, my name is Carol, and I love the family of Christ. I love brothers and sisters, and thank you for visiting. Okay, bye.